Hello, and thank you for watching this video. In this video, you will learn about biotic and abiotic factors in systems. If you were to visit Alaska, you might see a bald eagle fly by. A bald eagle is one type of organism or living thing. Different types of organisms live in different types of surroundings or environments. An organism gets food, water, shelter, and other things it needs to live, grow, and reproduce from its environment. An environment that provides the things a specific organism needs to live, grow, and reproduce is called its habitat. In a forest habitat, mushrooms grow in the damp soil, and woodpeckers build nests in tree trunks. Organisms live in different habitats because they have different requirements for survival and reproduction. Some organisms live on a prairie with its flat terrain, tall grasses, and low rainfall amounts. A prairie dog obtains the food and shelter it needs from a prairie habitat. It could not survive on the rocky ocean shore. Likewise, the prairie would not meet the needs of a sea star or a starfish. Before diving into talking about the parts of an organism's habitat, I want to talk about the prefix bio with you because it will be important to help you understand the next couple of vocabulary words that you need to know. Let me give you some words with the prefix bio in them. Biology is the study of life or living things. A biography is a story about a person's life. The biosphere is the part of Earth that supports life. Biodegradable means that something is able to be broken down by living things like bacteria. Biodiesel is a fuel that usually comes from plants, which are living things. And the word biohazard means that it is a substance that is dangerous to living things. When you see all of these words that start with the prefix bio, what similarity do you notice in their definitions or what they mean? Well, they all talk about life or living things. What we can determine from this is that bio means life. Keep this in mind as we move forward. To meet its needs, a prairie dog must interact with more than just the other prairie dogs around it. An organism interacts with both the living and non-living parts of its habitat. What living things can you see in the prairie dog's habitat shown in this picture? The parts of a habitat that are living, or once living, and interact with an organism are called biotic factors. Remember from the previous slide that bio means life. So when you see the word biotic factors, think of living things. The plants that produce seeds and berries are biotic factors because plants are alive and the things it produces are biotic factors. The ferrets and eagles that hunt the prairie dog are also biotic factors because they are living animals. Worms and bacteria are biotic factors that live in the soil underneath the prairie grass. Prairie dog scat and owl pellets are the feces or poop of animals and are also biotic factors because they came from something living. Also, decomposing plant matter or dead plant parts like leaves and stems are also biotic factors because they used to be alive or they used to be a part of something living. Now we just got done talking about biotic factors or living things in an organism's habitat. But not all of the factors that organisms interact with are alive. What is the opposite of living? Well, you may be tempted to say dead, but that's not what we're talking about. Remember that dead things were once alive, but are still considered biotic factors that come from living things. The opposite of living means non-living, things that are not alive and never have been. These are called abiotic factors. Abiotic factors are the non-living parts of an organism's habitat. When we put the prefix a in front of a word, sometimes it means not. So when we are talking about abiotic factors, we are talking about things that are not living. There are many abiotic factors that are extremely important for living organisms. Sunlight is one. Because sunlight is needed for plants to make their own food through photosynthesis, it is an important abiotic factor for most living things. Soil is another. Soil consists of differing amounts of rock fragments, nutrients, air, water, and the decaying remains of living things. The soil in an area influences the kinds of plants and animals that can live and grow there. Temperature is another. The temperatures that are typical in an area determine the type of organisms that can live there. Oxygen is also important because many living things require oxygen to carry out their life processes. Organisms on land obtain oxygen from air. Aquatic organisms, or organisms that live in water, obtain oxygen that is dissolved in the water around them. Water is also an important abiotic factor because all living things require water to carry out their life processes. Plants and algae need water along with sunlight and carbon dioxide to make their own food. Other living things depend on plants and algae for food.